This is episode 462 of the OotiniCast. This is the raw version of the show that goes out live. This is the raw version of the show that goes out live. And there we go. Yeah, show. And yep, it goes out with all flubs and errors intact, and then we will edit the audio, put it out as an audio podcast tomorrow, and the raw version, the raw video version, will also go up on YouTube. Let me go ahead and let people know that we're live, and then we're good to go. Yeah, 62. Twitch.
Twitter.
All right. It's tweeted out. Yeah. So we're just about ready to go, and
all right, let me retweet it. Okay.
I think I have just enough water to get me through it. I always have to have a certain amount of water for sure.
Yeah.
But I think I'm good. All right. You ready, Kitty?
Ready.
Okay. Well, we're just a hair early, but I think it's okay if we get going. All right. Let me do my little stretch.
Our podcast, we make the rules.
Okay. Got my yawn and stretch going.
Yawn and stretch and try to come to life.
That's right. Okay, going in 5. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast. The galaxy has changed, and so have we. This is episode 462, being recorded on Tuesday, April 11th, 2023. I'm your host, Chill, and with me is my co-host, KittyKissz. Hey, Kitty.
Chill.
And what have you been up to since the last show?
Well, I've been up to a whole bunch of stuff. One is Kitty and I are, like I said a while back, we've been doing work on the basement. And I took Sunday off of streaming so that, we could double team the basement.
Okay.
Because found a leak in the wall, so I've been patching that up and figuring that stuff out, watching a bunch of videos on YouTube, trying to figure out what product to use. So that's been fun, very informative. I'm learning a lot.
I'll bet. Yeah,
it's a good one. Spent a lot of. I have a coveralls. We both have coveralls that we wear when we do house stuff.
Nice.
It's kind of funny. Mine's covered in paint and it's all messed up.
Right.
Kitty's is relatively newer, but she's doing a good job on
getting them all painty,
splatter, and getting it all dirty. Yeah.
These are like real overalls, then, like corduroy or denim.
Coveralls.
Denim.
They're not like the thing that Jason Voorhees wears. That's what we have.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the real deal.
Yeah. Not like painting overalls where they're like temporary, but you're talking about like real overalls.
Yeah. It's you have to step into it,
and
then it's like a onesie. Without footies. It's great. and it's I just put that thing on and I'm good to go, which I used to have like painter jacket or painter shirt, pants and all that shit, but this thing's a one and done. And I've already got my mask in one pocket. I got my gloves in the other pocket. It's good. I got like different bits for different screws. Very it's great. It's
nice.
Easy. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, there was this bed down there that was made out of wood. It's like a bed frame.
Okay.
And the thing is enormous.
Oh geez.
So because we're doing the floors, I had to, we can't get it out of the room. You had to disassemble it. Holy crap. They built this thing so well. You could have hit it with a Mack truck, and I don't think it would have fallen apart. It would have broken in half before any of the components broke. Jeez. They put so many nails, just big, thick nails. The thing weighed, I want to say, probably, I don't know, like 250 pounds. Big industrial.
That's insane.
It was so big. So I got that done, and man, it was a workout.
Yeah.
My back's all sore and stuff, which, that's okay.
What tool did you use to did you have to break it apart with like a mallet or something? Okay.
I used a mallet. I used a crowbar, and I used some like makeshift shims. So I would, and then, man, I hit the shit out of that thing. But so I didn't have to go for a walk or anything like that. I got my my workout done. But man, let's see. I checked out the test server on the cloud.
As did I. Yeah.
And it seems to run really well. The ping is a little higher, but that's to be expected. And I'm kind of stoked that it's so far away, because people from, that part of the world are going to experience less ping for the first time.
Yeah. Well, there was an Australian server for a little bit of time early on. There was.
I don't remember that.
There was, but then they closed. So, but yeah, they did. I think they actually folded into the Satil Shan because it was the West Coast server and it was like the next closest one to them.
Right.
It wasn't at the beginning of the game, and it was a little ways in, and then it was just brief, and then it kind of went away, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
I'm just stoked for those folks. Like, there you go. You got your own server. A little bit.
And I've seen people getting like ping. 10 ping and even less ping than that, which is like,
really?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Meanwhile, I've got like 80 ping because I'm on the West Coast and the servers are all on the East Coast for the US. So,
wow. Yeah, I think my ping was around. I think the highest it was on the Satil Shan cloud server was, I want to say almost. I don't know. I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't that
I actually kept
bad.
track because I was like trying to figure that out. For me, it was in the 150s a lot of the time.
Yeah, I was going to say
never really got
200.
Yeah, and then it never really got below that. That's going to be just distance. And then it would sometimes pop up, especially like I played some on the very first day it was open, and the numbers seemed to be a little more all over the place on that day. And I don't know if it was because it was a little busier or because they hadn't like dialed in a few things, that they dialed in. But I played a few days after that, just like the third day or fourth day of the server, and it stayed right in the same numbers almost all the time then. So I'm not sure if that's because there were a few fewer people on the test server on that day, or if on the back end they'd sort of figured out a few things that they needed to dial in and had dialed them in. It's possible, certainly possible either way. And either way, even on the first day though, with the numbers jumping around, it really never felt laggy. It wasn't like it was really affecting gameplay. It felt pretty normal actually, because of the Galactic Season thing that I do, where I do stuff on other servers. I'm kind of aware of like what that sort of lag feels like, and it just felt like that. Yeah, it really doesn't play that much differently from the US servers. Not for normal stuff anyway. You might feel it more if you're doing like PvP or something, possibly certain operation mechanics and stuff like that really require you to be on the ball and have fractions of a second timing going on. Yeah. But for regular running around type play, I couldn't even tell a difference between that and just the US server. So it was good. Yeah,
I like it. It's exciting. Very exciting.
It really is.
To have that tech coming in.
Yeah, exactly. And if they can set up an Apex server, they can set up other servers. They could also potentially move the Satil Shan West Coast server back to the West Coast, so so we would get better ping over here again, which would be awesome.
I never thought of that, Chill. You just blew my mind.
Yeah. Well, I got my mind blown because someone in my chat said, "Boy, I hope they move the West Coast server," and I was like, "Yeah, it's a cloud. If it's a cloud server, they could just move it to the West Coast, and
especially because it's an Amazon thing. I'm sure that they have over here.
Yeah, literally everywhere. Yeah, exactly. So
that's really that's great.
Yeah,
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, indeed. Yes,
I have. Okay, so do you remember for the last 2 Galactic Seasons, I didn't really participate in it. I just wanted to play the game. And just see if I could finish it.
Right. And you basically did, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Not this time. I am full bore into Galactic Seasons. I've been having so much fun. I've been trying to do as many 12-point missions as possible.
Okay.
But I need to slow down because I know I'm going to get it done and be sad that it's gone. But at the same time,
right.
Like I get up in the morning every day. I'm like,
is it something about the season, or are you just enjoying the min-maxing process more for some reason, or what's going on? Why the change is what I'm.
I think I'm just having fun, and I don't know. I'm just excited about it. Oh, the armors, I'm really, really excited about.
Oh, okay.
So I want those pretty bad because I'm a, Nightmare Space Barbie player.
So it's nice to have more options. Yep.
Yeah. So, but it's just I've been just having so much fun, just having something to do in the game that, gives you little goodies here and there is great. Love it. So I'll probably be done with it pretty soon. unless I go, oh, okay, wait, pump the brakes there, killer. So we'll see. But I've been having a blast.
Yeah, I think I'm in the low 20s right now, something like that. So it's and I haven't been maxing out for 7.7. So if you've been maxing out 7.7, you've got to be further than that.
Last week I didn't wait. I don't remember if I did get 7 of 7. I think I did get 7 of 7. But yeah, I know I'm going to regret it, but I'm having a blast now. So it's on.
Nice. Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know if you did this or not, but I'm kind of curious. I watched a lot of Celebration London on YouTube every day.
Nice.
Because I get up
this
really
year,
early.
Yeah.
And I just click it on, and
that makes sense because with London, that's like midday when it's early over here.
8 hours ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So it makes sense that everything would be live. Maybe it was a little bit of the timing, or maybe just things going on in my life. I've done more in past years. I didn't watch so much live. I did catch up on the news with them, so it wasn't like I was completely unaware of what was happening. But yeah, didn't watch too much live though. A lot of interesting stuff going on this year for sure.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I actually added it to the show notes, like some of the things we can talk about that at the end or right now. It doesn't matter. It's all good.
No, we'll save it. We'll save it for the end.
We'll talk about that at the end.
It's just such a great, because I've never got to go to Celebration. I've always wanted to go, but at the same time, I don't like being around a lot of people.
It is a lot of people.
It's kind of iffy, but
yeah.
I don't know. I just found out that they did a YouTube thing. I don't know if they'd started it a couple years ago, but when I found it was online. I've been watching it every year, so it's great. It's really, really cool. You got to get the feel, and I was really stoked for all the people over in Europe to finally have it.
Yeah,
there. Because they don't have jet lag this time.
And next year, Japan.
I know, right?
Or next time, is it? Yeah, next time anyway.
I think it's 2025.
Yeah, I think it actually is. I think it actually is an extra year. But
that was fun. There's a lot of really cool stuff, and I'm sure we'll touch on it in a little bit.
We will. We definitely will.
I got my Mechshaw stronghold.
Nice. Yeah.
Started decorating it.
I did too. Yeah. I haven't decorated it, but I did. I did the whole run through and checked it all out. Nice. And I'd say I like the general vibe of it, and I like especially the parts where you have the two decks and you can kind of look out over the rest of Mechshaw. Yeah, that's really like cool. A real highlight. And I do like the sort of like the and it's part of Mechshaw anyway, but the whole like aesthetic of everything being made out of like containers, crates and stuff like that. It's really cool. I do wish it was a little better lit, or at least some parts of it were better lit, so that it's not kind of all kind of dim, because it's all kind of sort of like mid-level or less. It's relatively dim as far as strongholds go, and it'd be nice to have
those light decos.
You can, but they only do so much, really. They're sort of limited in what they can do in an odd way. I actually have my Nar Shaddaa one, and the whole opening area is just lathered in lights, and it does help, but it's pretty limited in what it actually does for whatever reason. It's just the way they have it set up. But
yeah, it looks so cool.
But yeah, Mech Shaw is a lot of fun. And I like, there is like a little spot where you can put a ship out there to make it look like you've parked outside.
Wait, what? There is?
Yeah, you have to like look outside and like look down. If you're on the deck and you kind of look around, you can't actually go there,
That's
but
awesome.
But you can actually see down there. There's like this flat area, and you can, yeah, it's fun.
So that goes into what I was just what I wanted to talk about next. I opened it on the stream, and because a bunch of people wanted to check it out, and last time we went and checked, they didn't have any that were public. So I had no idea what it looked like. I kind of, didn't want to really look at a lot of people's stuff because I wanted to experience it, live. And I went around, I checked everything out. I went blah, blah, blah. And I think it was yesterday, we were just kind of dorking around in game, and I was doing a little decorating, and I saw a door, and I go, let me go check that door out. I didn't think it would open, but it opened to a whole nother area.
Yes.
And I was like, yeah, that's awesome. And now you tell me that there's a landing pad, because I was going to tell you my only criticism is that there's no landing pad.
Yeah, you can't really get to it. Like I looked for a door, and I tried even to jump to it, because it kind of looks like you can jump to it. I wasn't able to, though. I just died trying. But yeah, there's like a flat area out there, and apparently, as I didn't actually check, but I understand you can. There's a hook for it. Yeah.
Excellent. So, excellent. That's great news.
Is it going to become your main?
You know what I started doing? I didn't think of it, but it seems that my dark side characters are going there a lot more than my light side characters.
Okay.
But
yeah. Kind of makes sense. It's kind of a criminal enterprise area and all that.
Yeah, I decorated it up so it looks like a fencing operation.
Oh, nice. I
put a bunch of crates up and some
right.
Mandalorians and some other guards.
Yeah, like the speeder.
A couple getaway speeders.
Right.
To, take out.
They have some speeders that are sort of like partly taken apart and stuff like that. It could look like a chop shop.
And I, of course, put all the banks and all of the mail and all that stuff.
Yeah, you got to have that if you're going to use it. If you're going to use it at all. I mean, you can always make it just to go visit once in a while, but then,
I'll never go.
Exactly. You'll hardly ever go. Exactly.
I've become accustomed to the finer things. If I have to step more than 4 paces with my character, it's a no-go.
Yeah, it kind of has to be from the opening area too, doesn't it?
I have to go.
And I like how there's a little thing where you can choose either the original one, the downstairs one, but if you want, you can make the upstairs one the starting area, and you can make that the starting one if you like the view better. If you like not having the extra thing overhead, and I like the little awning thing they put up there. Actually, it's like this colorful sort of parasolic, but very, very big thing sort of hanging out over the top of the deck. Yeah, it's nice.
It looks so badass. I love it. I think it looks really, really good. Lastly, and I know you went and saw this movie as well, but I went and saw the D&D movie with Kitty.
Good stuff.
And I know you know this, and I know that people that follow my stream know this, but Kitty and I are we are popcorn enthusiasts.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've heard.
We went to the theater, and we went to order a large popcorn. We were like, are there free refills on the popcorn? And the guy's like, because we went to an independently owned local theater, because support your local businesses and all that.
Nice.
And we both got a large popcorn.
That's a lot of popcorn for 2 people.
When we ordered it, the guy goes, wait, really? And we're like, yeah.
Wow.
So we both got a large popcorn and 2 large sodas we went through. I felt okay when we left, but by the time I got home, I didn't feel real well, and then I woke up after a while, and I evacuated the popcorn.
Oh man. Oh, rough.
I actually ate till I puked.
Oh no.
And you know what? I'm gonna do it again.
That's funny. Yeah, I do find, like, when I was a kid, when I was in my 20s or something, I could just like eat, a big tub of popcorn, no big deal. I find if I eat a lot of popcorn, and especially if like on an empty stomach, if that's like the only thing I'm eating, I find like it's a little hard on my stomach. Like it actually kind of like, my stomach kind of just like, it feels like I can, like the little holes are grinding against the inside of my stomach, basically.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't really do that anymore. I'm happy to eat popcorn, but I like to have either other food at the same time or before, or I just not too much of volume, maybe not a giant bolus of popcorn.
And we pretty much ate them all too. Like I ate all of mine and some of Kitty's. She only had a little bit left over, but it was it was so good. And the movie was really, really fun.
It was really fun. Yeah. We'll try not to spoil, just like we don't spoil the Star Wars stuff either. But a lot of fun.
Going, that's a blank. Oh, that's that. Oh, that's
right.
That one.
Yep. Lots of recognizing. Oh, that's that creature. That's that creature. That's that spell and whatever. And I ended up seeing it twice because I saw it with a friend and then I saw it with my wife. And
cool.
It was fun both times. I found the second time I was able to relax a little more because like the first time I didn't know really what to expect because I had seen one trailer, but it's hard sometimes to know exactly what kind of like tone they're exactly going for. It helps.
Right.
Like the second time I knew, okay, yeah, this is like expect a lot of comedy. Like don't expect it to be taking itself seriously like at any point. Like it's trying to have fun with itself. It's like it's not trying to be like the next Lord of the Rings. It's trying to be just fun, And if you relax and it's like you're not expecting it to be like super serious or anything, and it's just gonna be a fun ride, and you can enjoy it on that on that basis. And to me that helped. So hopefully that will help people to sort of like. If you're going to listen to it, if you listen to this and then you're going to see the movie, hopefully it'll help you get your expectations a little more accurate. Because I was kind of expecting more of like a high fantasy, and it's not. It's a low fantasy. They're having fun with it.
They definitely did, and I think
they did.
That's what made it so successful. It didn't take itself too seriously, but at the same time, they told a good story.
They did. And
they told it well.
A few moments of real heartfelt, touching and stuff like that. And some interesting variations on certain creatures and stuff like that. I hope you're thinking of the one I'm thinking of, but...
Yes, I know exactly what you're well, there's a couple of them.
A couple, but the one, the big one, let's say. That was a lot of fun.
That one. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's great. So I'm gonna give it a thumbs up.
Me too.
Jill, what about you?
Definitely a thumbs up. Good movie.
Okay.
A lot of fun. With your expectation, if you're unless you're expecting the next Lord of the Rings, and you expect it to be super serious or something, it should be a lot of fun for anyone who's sort of nerdy D&D or whatever. Anyway, enough D&D stuff. Let's get back to Star Wars.
All right, but that's it for me, Jill. The only thing I can say is. My only recommendation is don't eat a whole large popcorn by yourself and some of your partner's popcorn too.
Right.
Other than that.
And the first time I watched the movie, they had like this popcorn and they had sprinkled in Flaming Hot Cheetos. So it was like Flaming Hot Cheetos popcorn. It was really good.
Holy crap. Yeah. Popcorn with Flaming Hot Cheetos in it.
Yes. It was really good that way. So good.
Wow.
And the nice thing is it's like with it sort of mixed in, it's not like too intense. It's not like crazy intense, but the flavor is very much there. It's front and center still. Yeah, it's really good that way.
That sounds good.
Try it out sometime. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna.
All right. All right, let's see who's in the chat room then. All right, 01L is here. Elisa Dre, Antol2765, Darth Dirty Socks is here. Discord for streamers, Drapsnat, John 5H1VUI, Kata, Lakraf, Niner, Ramakad, Pen is here. Shardbova, Squishy Twitchy, the Tsunami Safari is here. Ventley and Vodka Girl 19 are all showing. Hey everyone, and so yeah, we already talked about doing the test server. That was a lot of fun, and I did some PvP, especially the first week on Wonder Woman as a Guardian. Really liking that spec. I've decided to make that my PvP spec, so she's now like going to be the Republic side one, and then I'm going to need to make a Empire side one. So we're going to talk about that in a sec. I got Chilthulu a large way through the rest of her story. She's basically done at this point. She has like Runic left, and I think that's it. And so yeah, I decided to work up an Empire side Juggernaut to go with Wonder Woman as the Guardian. And so I went with Macho Man Randy Savage. He is so much fun to do. And it's fun to just imitate him the whole time. Ooh, yeah. Step into a Slim Jim. And so he's in. We just finished Act 1. We're having a ball, and I'm doing some war zones with him as well.
He looks so good.
It's a ton of fun. So I have several outfits for him. I have one that's like the wrestling outfit where it's just trunks and bare chest, and the goggles. I could take the goggles off by hiding the head slot as well, but I usually keep the goggles on for fun. You know, that I've dyed bright yellow. He's got a couple of different variations on like this really fancy Slim Jim sort of outfit. Like he always wore in the Slim Jims ad where it was like a really fringy sort of fancy outfit in bright red and bright yellow. And it's got the, it's a something Vandal outfit where like you have this helmet with the goggles, and if you dye it, it looks exactly like his outfit in that. And because I didn't want to do this as like an unarmed sort of thing. I know he's a wrestler and all, but I didn't want to do the unarmed thing because I've already got Fezzik, so Andre the Giant actually, going for that. So I found this. There's this like, it's called something like dusky orange lightsaber color crystal, and it makes his lightsaber blade look exactly like a Slim Jim. So it literally looks like a greasy pepperoni. It's absolutely wonderful. So I'm basically beating people up with a Slim Jim, and I'm having a ball. So I have a couple pictures in the show notes, including the bare-chested one. I have variations on them too. I'm going to add some more once I figure out some more things. There's nothing exactly with like the fringe all along, that sort of the little bitty fringe. I haven't found anything like that in the game. I don't think they have that in the game. It'd probably be a nightmare to animate. But we'll find some more outfits for him for sure. It's a whole lot of fun to do. Yeah, it's like, ooh, yeah, we're good. And I have some rules. Like, if I know there's a big fight coming up, I have to do some strutting and some flexing. And I bought several emotes just for him. So he now has the super flex emote. He has the bicep kiss emote. And he has the belt check, which is perfect for a wrestler. Because you do this thing where you're like, oh yeah, you kind of check you do this big wipe over your belt, and then he kind of points at the belt area. It's like perfect for a pro wrestler. It's like they must have been thinking of a pro wrestler or a boxer when they did it. It's crazy. So it's perfect for him, and I use that all the time. And then he wears like the fancy outfit when he's like in a more safe area, and then when he's about to wrestle, he wears his wrestling outfit, and then he goes bare chested and he goes and beats up people with his pepperoni stick. It's awesome. and my voice gets totally thrashed by the end. It's so hard to do that voice for like 2 hours and like not just have your voice be absolutely toast.
Mine hurts right now for just doing it a couple seconds.
Exactly. It's like we're gonna be the Intercontinental Champion. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, we're doing the Elizabeth thing. I started with Vet, and now I'm switching to Jace, and it's Dark Jace too. He's not really dark side. I'm not doing him strictly dark side. It's strictly entertainment. So it's like whatever is A, funniest, and B, most aggressive, because that's like the typical wrestler thing. Be aggressive. Well, of course, that's going to end up being like 90% dark. So Jace ended up being dark because of that too. So she's actually, and now we've swapped the romance to her. She's going to be the Elizabeth, and she's going to run around with us as the Elizabeth person, which is a lot of fun. Yeah, so yeah, I'm having a ball. And so he's going to be the Empire side PvP character, and Wonder Woman will be the Republic side. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I actually ended up doing a bunch of them yesterday, just trying to get some of the PvP track done, because I actually I'd done Cthulhu, and then I'd done him for a couple of days, but I hadn't done any PvP the whole week. So I did a ton of war zones on him, and I got a couple of the weeklies done, which was nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it took a lot of them to do, but it worked. And it's a lot of fun.
He's Jug. What's his
Jug, and it's the it's not the smash spec, it's the dot spec, and I can't remember what it's called.
It does well in PvP?
Yes, it does very well in PvP. All the Juggernaut ones are pretty good right now, but if you get grouped up, you put the dots, and then your smash ability is also your dot spreader, so you can do tons of damage. And if they do group up, and even if they don't, you can do reasonably good single target as well. And you have some tools on that spec that are kind of nice for PvP as well. It's
vigilance, right?
That sounds like the Guardian version, but I think that's right. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You're on. Okay.
And Vengeance. Yeah, Antal is saying Vengeance. That sounds right. I think that is the proper name. I believe that's right. Yeah. Anyway, it's a ton of fun, and you actually, it's funny because once actually you get the whole spec together and you've got all your extra bonuses and stuff, you end up not putting the dots on right away. You start with your jump, and then you start with like your big single target abilities that aren't dots, and then you add the dots, and then you do smash and stuff like that. Once you've got that rolling, though, it's just tons of damage, and it's a lot of fun.
It's so fun. And what's great is that if you're doing dailies on that character, it's so mobile. You kill a mob and kill everything resets.
Yes.
And then you just bounce over to the
That's actually one of the things I really liked about it. Is a lot of other specs, there's a couple of things that I always want to have for PvP, but you sometimes have to choose them, or you don't get to choose something else. And one of them is the resets. So if you have a kill, you actually get some things that are reset right away, so that or if you get out of combat anyway, you get the reset. Not necessarily a kill, but from a going out of combat. And then the other thing is in-combat movement speed. There's actually a couple of damage specs that are melee. They're very short range, but you actually have to choose the 15% movement speed ability if you want it, or you're going to lose out on something else. And on a couple of the other specs, it's actually noticeable. It's like, wow, I really missed that, but I got to have this other ability, so I can't have the 15% movement speed. But it's built into the Juggernaut one, so it's really nice that way. So yeah, I really like it. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, I'm having a ball. I'm fresh in my voice every day with him, and it's just I'm just enjoying it a lot. It was actually it was really fun to actually go back, because there's a lot of wrestlers you can do. I haven't really watched pro wrestling in a while, but I had like a period in my 20s when I just watched a lot of it, because it was like a free stunt show basically, and it was just a lot of fun. I was never such a rube to think that they were that it was anything other than scripted entertainment, but just the fact that they actually were doing real stunts live is kind of amazing, and still is. And Randy Savage was one of the ones I was actually watching back in the day. He was sort of the era of him, and I like Jake the Snake and Ted DiBiase, and it was all that period of time. The $1 Million Man, yeah.
Here's what you need, Jill. It's called Fisherman's Friend.
Okay. What does that do?
It's a throat lozenger.
Oh, okay.
They're pretty strong, and they're great. I'm having one right now. Yeah, those are good stuff.
Okay, I'll have to. I'll take. Yeah, I'll see if I can find. Where would you find something like that? Is it like at a regular grocery store, or?
Yeah, they have them at Fred Meyer's.
Okay, I'll check them out then.
Yeah.
That sounds good. All right, we'll move on to the tip of the week, and it's just me for the tip of the week this week, but that's all right. The tip is, if you have a stack of something, let's say you've gotten, and of course we're all going to be doing Galactic Seasons, so you're going to be getting packs from Galactic Seasons. Let's say you get the like some of the decos from one of the packs and then you put it into your inventory, it'll have a temporary bind timer on them, right? If, assuming you want to sell these on the GTN or whatever, or give them away or put them in the guild bank or something, do not unstack them for any reason. Just leave them stacked until the timer's completely gone. Because if you unstack any of them, the new stack becomes permanently bound. Not temporarily bound, permanently bound. I unstacked some because I happened to pull them out of the inventory late one evening, and then sort of midday, a day and a half later, when the timer it had literally 2 minutes left to go, and I was like, oh, okay, well, let's just unstack this, and then as soon as the timer goes away, I'll throw them on the GTN, no problem. Nope. Unstacked one from each of those little groups, and they were all bound. Now, fortunately, the original stacks that had the timers on them still had the timers on them. They did not also become bound. So it didn't bind everything, but it did bind everything that I pulled off of those stacks and made new stacks out of. So yeah, if you're looking to actually sell them or give them away or whatever, don't unstack them until the timer's completely gone, because anything you unstack is going to be bound. So,
good one.
Yes. And I did not know this. This was something new to me. I've never really had a lot of reason to unstack something while it was bound before, and I suppose there really isn't a lot of reason to do it. But don't do it unless you don't care that it's bound. So there you go. So yeah, there you go. It's hopefully a something that will help people, because I actually already had all the this is from a bronze stack, and I already had several of whatever they were. So I didn't need them anymore, but they were bound at that point. So it was like I could either vendor them or accept them. So I just accepted them. Anyway. Yeah, so let's go on to the... Oh, yeah, and if you have any tips, please send your tips to OotiniCast@gmail.com before the next show for a chance to win a Tonfon M83R droid pet code or an M2B9 droid code courtesy of BioWare, and also from BioWare a 450cc code. All good stuff. That'll bring us to the Mind Trap. And the question was, what do you like most about 7.2.1? And we actually had a number of retweets and votes, which was great, 358 votes, and we appreciate all the retweets that we got as well. The questions were Galactic Season 4, PvP Season 2, Cartel Items, or the 64-bit client. And what was your vote, Kitty?
Galactic Seasons 4.
Well,
really into it this time around.
That's funny. Yeah. It was mine too, actually, because I kind of thought about it, and it's I could say the 64-bit client, because I do think that's a really neat thing, and I think in the future it's going to actually help the game a lot. But as far as what I like about 7.2.1 right now, yeah, it's probably Galactic Season 4, so I did that as well. I was also tempted to say PvP Season 2, because I'd done some of that and was really digging that too. I have not bought any of the current cartel items, so that was not an option for me. But yeah, out of the, like I said, 358 people who voted, the winner was the 64-bit client with over half the vote, 56.7% of the vote. Kind of surprised me. Galactic Season 4, however, was second, 32.4% of the vote. PvP Season 2 was 5%, Cartel Items 5.9%. So those were, PvP Season 2 was fourth, Cartel Items just barely ahead of it. I can see why. Yeah, I can see why the cartel. Actually, I was kind of expecting cartel items to be a little bit higher with the Mandalorian armor, especially being prominent in it.
It's expensive.
Yeah, it is.
Really expensive.
Let's see. Yeah, some of the people are saying I'm not a fan of PvP, but the armor set for this PvP season is amazing.
There you go.
Yeah. One said, I'm not hyped about the changes, but I voted for the 64-bit due to the future potential of the game. And don't get me wrong, I still love the game. This was Bill Stevens said that. Let's see. And Mr. Colto said, though 64-bit sounds good, but it made my favorite PvP map Novari nearly non-playable. Visual bugs all over it. Season 4 brings nice new dialogue. PvP season has improved, which is true to some degree, although it's still tricky to get for me. I still find it tricky to get the right amount of 7 ones.
Oh,
but yeah.
Right.
Cartel stuff is cool, but way too pricey. Yes.
So pricey. I mean, for the amount of money you pay for that set, they should include a free unlock. Because that is one armor set, and it's so expensive.
Right. It would be nice to have an unlock for at least one more, but yeah, And I guess they would just have to give you 2 of it out of the box, essentially. It's interesting that he's having troubles with the Navari Coast. I didn't hear about. I don't think I ended up getting the Navari Coast, even though I did a fair number of them. So I don't know if they were having issues with it and sort of quietly turned it off or not. Some people I think are having some issues with the game. We'll talk about that later. For the most part, I think most people are doing okay with the 64-bit client. It seems, we've had a couple of weeks of it and there hasn't been giant problems that I've seen, but some people are saying they're having issues with it on the forums and so on. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. But let's go to the Cantina Talk. This is an occasional segment that we do where we pick out a voice actor from the literally hundreds who have voiced for SWTOR over the years. And I won't go over the list, but it's getting to be a long one, and so I'm not going to. Yes. And this time we're going to do Lance Henriksen. So Lance Henriksen is a wonderful actor who, like John DiMaggio, his connection with SWTOR comes before the actual launch of the game. So, and where most of the other voice actors we're talking about are ones who have voiced characters in the game, there are a couple people who are interesting, like John DiMaggio, who voiced for the stuff that was coming out right before the game. Lance Henriksen is famous for playing Bishop in Aliens, so that's probably the place most people know him from. But he's also Frank Black in the show Millennium, and also briefly in The X-Files. And he's been an actor for a long time. He was uncredited as a Marine in The Outsider, as a 1961 movie. Wow. Yeah, and then his career sort of started taking off in the 1970s. He had small roles in great movies like Dog Day Afternoon, Network, and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And finally, when he did Bishop and Aliens, and after that, he's been working regularly ever since, because that was a huge movie, and he had a pretty important role in it. And he's really good in it too, of course. Mm-hmm. So what does he do in SWTOR? He does the voice of Jedi Master Nostaral, and specifically he did Nostaral before the game in a whole series of historical tidbits, essentially, where he voiced little bits of all these important events that lead up to the SWTOR class stories. And so, if you know Lance's voice, you'll recognize him as Nostaral when you go back and listen to them. Swotorista actually put a nice compilation of all of them about a year ago, and I have a link to the YouTube if you could put that in for them as well, for the live folks too. And so that was pretty cool. So we actually that's another cool actor that has a connection to SWTOR, Lance Henriksen. And and if you never listened to the Nostaral bits, it actually there's some really good stuff.
Really cool.
A lot of it does sort of tie in to things that have happened in the game since. For example, when you meet Hylo Viz, she was involved in one of the important events that led up to the sacking of Coruscant and all that sort of thing. And lots of good stuff there. So Lance Henriksen, thank you.
Good call. He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's big time.
He's got a good voice too. He really does.
Very distinctive.
Yep. Right. So that'll bring us to the Holo feed. And of course, we've talked about the open test server hosted on the cloud. And it is, they had a nice little article. It's available still on SWTOR.com, but we'll hit a couple of bits here. So why is SWTOR migrating to cloud-based servers? And it sounds like, this is semi-confirmation. I don't think it's 100% confirmation, but I think the idea is that all their servers will be cloud servers. Why is SWTOR migrating to cloud-based servers? This is a continuation of our effort to modernize and update the game with focus to improve the player experience and optimize tech that is used by the team. Some of the benefits of the migration are the technology allows us to improve the overall player experience, such as connectivity, ping, faster startup, and better in-game performance. Back-end updates that are crucial to the continued health and stability of the game can be streamlined more efficiently. The resources required to maintain our current systems can be reallocated to focusing on enhancing game experience. In other words, there are people who, are basically just there to mine the servers, and but they work for BioWare, and instead they can work for BioWare to actually help update and maintain the game in other ways. We'll be able to leverage and integrate updated tech servers such as newer hardware, software, and graphics, which is actually a pretty cool thing because, if you have a server farm somewhere, it's just sitting there getting older and older. But if you're doing it as a service from Amazon, well, Amazon's going to be updating their stuff all the time, and that's their cost and that's their business to do that. And once finalized, SWTOR may be capable to extend its server's capabilities to reach new players, and that would be partly why they are doing a test of the APAC server, Asia Pacific.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, I found a dev tracker post from the start of the year where they were talking about doing the cloud-based stuff, and it happened quick. It's going really, really fast. I'm looking forward to it. It's great, especially after watching what was it, Celebration London, and they were talking about all the different projects they were going to do, and one of them is Star Wars: The Old Republic. So maybe that'll blow some wind in SWTOR's sails when that happens, when and if it happens.
Right. We don't know. Yeah. As far as I know, they didn't say anything specific about that, but it is nice that, for example, they did show the extended timeline of Star Wars, and Star Wars: The Old Republic was part of it. And not only that, but they actually used the actual logo. Star Wars logo, the actual like Galactic Republic / Empire logo, which is really nice. So it was really nice that sort of like, because at least that was sort of like pulled straight from the game. So even if nothing else is canon, at least the logo is sort of canonical now.
I was so stoked. I'm like, new updates, and then all of a sudden that's announced. So hopefully, fingers crossed for the future.
Right. So they're planning on closing the test server on April 18th. So as of right now, you should still be able to check it out. And what do they want players to check out? Well, they want you to, they basically would like you to tell them like what you did on the server, where you normally play, and then where it differed. Like, if you played whatever you did on the server, how did it compare to how you do it on your normal home server? So, good stuff. And definitely, if you have any interest at all, check it out. And of course, if you're in APAC, definitely check it out. And I believe, as I understand it, there's still sort of a somewhat higher than you would expect percentage of people who listen to the OotiniCast who are from the APAC servers, because we had T.O. As our co-host for so long, and so if you're still out there listening, and definitely check out that APAC server, because from what I understand, if you're actually in Australia, like the ping is crazy low.
Ping is it's real low.
Yeah,
you guys deserve it.
Yeah, definitely. Right. Events for April. Well, we did have the Relics of the Gree event. It finished today, last night. It finished up and then was gone today. However, still upcoming for April, we have the Pirate Incursion. That's going to be coming the April 18th through the 25th. And although I haven't gone too far in that, this one does have that one achievement that I like, where you can get that golden glow on your character as a special thing. And so it's nice to be able to use that event to sort of get that achievement done.
Yeah, and once you get it, you can buy it. I think it's literally 1 credit, and you can have it for other characters.
Right, you just have to send.
Not only the one.
You just have to get them there. So basically, once they have a ship, you can pretty much go there. It's not dangerous to get to the vendor, so you don't have to be like of a level.
Unless you're on the PvP instance, then you will die immediately. Trust me.
I could see that. All right. On the forums, there was a fair bit of people saying that they were getting what's called a flickering graphic bug in 7.2.1. And they're calling it flickering, but what seems to be actually happening is that the game is quickly swapping between high and low graphic settings over and over again, which leads to a flickering effect. And so some people apparently have had this issue in the past, and then they would fix it by telling the game to emulate a particular version of Windows. That worked well with their particular system. The problem is, though, in 7.2.1, a lot of folks, including me, you basically have to turn emulation off, because otherwise you can't like for whatever reason the server list is not filled and you can't actually get into the servers to get into the game. So if you've turned off your emulation in order to get into the game, it makes it so you can't emulate something else to stop this flickering. So some people who are having this flickering issue have had it come back in 7.2.1 because of that. And Jackie's asking for folks who do have this sort of issue to send information on their system, which version of Windows, what CPU and graphics card they have, and so on, and let them know so they can figure out like what sort of systems are having these issues and what they need to do in order to fix this.
It's amazing to me that they can fix that stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
given there's thousands of different CPUs and graphic cards.
So enormous.
Yeah, not to mention the combinations then are in the millions. Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, exactly.
Good job, you guys.
Yep. There's also a little bit of discussion. I had to look for it, but then it was like, oh yeah, it is there, because I actually ran into this, the Hutball bug. So what's happening is Hutball works. You can play the Hutball, but it's not counting towards the rewards for season 2, not all the time anyway. So I played yesterday when I was playing a ton of War Zones. I ended up getting 2 Hut balls, and the first one did not count. I won it, didn't count towards the wins, and it didn't count towards the war zones completed. The second one I won, and it counted for both of those. So I don't know why it's not happening all the time or not. One thing that was, and I actually put in like a big letter to try to kind of let people, so hopefully this would help them figure out things, but I wasn't actually actively tracking it. Like I didn't have it up on the screen, but the one when I was already tracking it, it did work properly. So I don't know if tracking it is actually helping or if that's an issue. It's hard to know, but anyway. So just be aware that if you're like trying to get your Warzone, if you're trying to get the Warzone ones done for the PvP season track, if you do get a Hut ball, it may or may not count. So it won't count all the time for sure. Right. So that is a bug they're working on. There's also a nodes.
That could be aggravating.
Yes. There's also a resource nodes minimap bug. This is a little bit easier to deal with though. So in game update 7.2.1, the resource node filter is no longer active by default for the minimap. So what you can do is you need to manually add the nodes filter back into your minimap filters. So if the bioanalysis and whatever other nodes are not showing, just go and make sure that gets turned back on. Yeah, because apparently it got turned, instead of being on by default, it's currently off by default.
Interesting.
And speaking of your Mechshaw stronghold, some of the hooks are bugged, and they know about this. And apparently it's pretty common. Like it's like not for some people. It's pretty much there. There are some wall hooks especially the small wall hooks in the lower area of the Mechshaw safe house stronghold are broken. And I
found that.
Okay. So I'll give the description. You let me know if it's what you found as well. So as I'm reading this, what I'm understanding is happening is if you have these wall hooks with it's like a big wall hook with like little ones also. If you put anything in like the little ones, then you can't undo it. Like you can't. It's treating it as though the little hooks are like underneath the big hook, and then you can't access the little hooks again once something is on there apparently. So yeah, that's sort of the issue people are having. Is that what was happening with you, Kitty?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Okay. I just assumed it was user error because I usually end up being able to break something, and I didn't know it was a bug. It kind of makes me happy though, because I was really like, "What did you do?"
What is going on? Right. Unfortunately, not a lot of ways around this, as far as I know. I mean, you can basically reset the whole thing. I believe that would work. I didn't see a lot of description of people finding workarounds in the forums. I would assume that if you just told because there's a command, you can basically tell it to take all the decos down. I assume that would work still. But yeah, I think
you could probably. You know what
I don't know. You can maybe change the layout of the hooks potentially?
Yeah, you can change the layouts of the hooks.
Yes. I could see that working too. Yeah, I could see that working out as sort of a workaround.
because you don't want to have to take everything down.
No, especially if it's not the first thing not the first room you've done or whatever. Yeah.
You spent 6 hours, and then the last thing you're putting in
are some wall lights, and then you decide, oh, I want these other wall lights. Oh, no, I can't touch them. So change the layout sounds like a good workaround for now. A much better one than doing the entire thing. All right. And yes, I love it. This happened last time too. It must have like a bi-weekly thing, but it logged me out of the show notes. So I'm okay as long as I don't actually have to change anything, though. I think I'm okay actually. So I'm just gonna stay signed out for the moment being, because it's actually still showing me the show notes. It's kind of nutty. All right. Let's see. There is a downloading twice issue. They're aware. Jackie said the team is aware of it and working on an update for it. So I noticed this as well. I didn't really think much of it, but now that it's kind of like with your hooks, where it's like I kind of assumed that it was just me kind of being weird about it. Mm-hmm. But because I have a small SSD, I'm always like having a hard time getting the downloads anyway. And this did happen in 7.2.1 where I had to delete a bunch of stuff to get it to actually go through. Part of the reason is, yes, essentially it is sometimes, depending on which version you're using and stuff like that, it is sometimes essentially downloading it, and then while it's trying to work it through, it's actually downloading it again, and it's taking an awful lot of room to do it. So yeah, they are working on that, but yeah, but just be aware that even though it's like 36 gigs or whatever like that, you might actually need like 72 free or something very close to it, unfortunately.
Ouch.
Yeah. I finally managed to get it to squeak past, but yeah.
I have an extra SSD, Chill. You want me to send it to you?
I think I'm okay for now. Here.
Okay, well, let me know. Let me know when you finally crack.
Finally give it up. Saying, no.
Why didn't I just buy one?
All right. Magnifying glass on the world map bug. So if you're using the magnifying glass, apparently it is not working properly on the world map. It's showing it's not showing the proper part that you're hovering over. So they are working on that. They do know about it.
What is it showing?
I think as I was reading it, it seems like it's like not accurate. In other words, like it's hovering some part of the map, but it's actually showing like some other part of the map that's not really over it. So it's hard to use it at that point because it's not showing where you think it's showing.
It'd be really funny if it was showing something on another tab, like in your Chrome, and you're streaming, and all of a sudden, like, whoa, you guys aren't supposed to see that.
Yeah. So let's see. Special characters bugs. So some people are having, like, when if they're transferring a character, for example, the special characters in character names are not like transferring over properly. So instead of having an accent, it's like a regular letter and like a question mark after it, which is kind of annoying. So they are now aware of that as well. Jackie Co did have, this is too late for people, but if you did go to Star Wars Celebration, they did send some SWTOR swag. Jackie sent some. They went to the cosplayers of the Old Republic who were there, and I saw a fair number of pictures from them, the cosplayers of the Old Republic, and it looked like they had fun, and they had some swag, official swag from the dev team to give out, which was nice.
Cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
They did that.
Let's see. One other thing, graphics issues on high-end computers. So someone wrote in, I've been experiencing some awful frames per second dips to as low as 20 to 50 frames per second sustained, especially during group content and whenever I open menus, such as inventory or character sheets. And Jackie wrote back a couple notes from the team. The frame rate limiter defaults to 60, so you can try turning it up to the max of 200. I do not have this issue. I do not have a new enough computer to have this issue at all. Additionally, if you have multiple GPUs, we recommend checking to make sure you have it set to using the installed GPU as opposed to the power saving one. So in other words, it might be trying to do like, using a GPU that's like a graphics card that's like, not optimize, essentially.
Right.
If you're having performance issues that are limited by rendering, the frames per second display will display green. If it's limited by the CPU, the FPS will display red. And so we'd also like to know what color you're seeing. Some things to check to test if it's a graphics issue. Turn off anti-aliasing, reduce shadow settings, update your drivers. And then other info they'd like to know is, are you on a laptop or a desktop? And they'd like to, if you're having this sort of issue, submit a DX diagnostic and send to support@swotor.com.
Nice.
So yeah, so there we go. All right. So yeah, I basically my system has not had too many issues with 721. It's still running at the same 60 frames per second. That was roughly what it was before anyway. And I do have it limited to 60 anyway, because that's what I stream at as well. And plus the system won't go much higher than that anyway. I mean, it'll go a little higher, but not much. So I'm happy to just leave it at 60. But yes, if you have a much newer system, hopefully you can get it, a little bit nicer than that.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, Star Wars Celebration had quite a bit of stuff announced, especially in terms of like shows and movies that are coming out. So anything that's like what's like the most exciting one for you, Kitty?
Oh man. Well, besides
we'll touch on them all, but yeah. Yeah, seeing the Star Wars, the SWTOR emblem.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to Ahsoka.
Okay.
I can't wait to see Ahsoka. She's my second favorite character in Star Wars, so
nice.
It'll be cool.
That will be fun. Yeah.
Having all this, the majority of things on the Mandalorian and the Bad Batch are, they don't have any like the mysticism and the Force and stuff like that, which is great. But it'll be nice to return to some of that with Ahsoka.
Right. Antal says, yeah, the live the Rebels in live action, and will be nice to see, because they showed, and there was like a lot of them, so we get to see the droid and Veer and all that. So that's gonna be good stuff.
Cool. What about you?
For me, I would say like I'm definitely looking forward to Bad Batch season 3, and apparently it is going to be the last season, so kind of sad there, but at least we're getting one more season of them. I've really been enjoying it a lot. Also, I think out of ones that I have like the high hopes for, I think the Acolyte could be really, really interesting. Yeah. Just anything that's sort of like dark side, or because it's going to be set in the High Republic, so that'll be sort of my first. I have read at least one book from the High Republic, but I've not read them all. It might have been 2, but I know I've read at least one in High Republic. It'll be interesting to see like something that like what the Sith are doing in this period of time. I think that could be a lot of fun. So that's sort of like my hoping for a home run sort of thing. Like I think that could be really interesting.
I mean, not to mention a live action Wookiee Jedi. Holy crap. Can't wait to see it. That'll to mention all the cosplayers. Oh man.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yep. And Ahsoka will be fun too, for sure. There's going to be, in addition to the ones we haven't touched on yet, Vision Season 2. I like some of the Vision stuff, so it'll be interesting to see what else they're able to do with that.
It looked really interesting. There's a trailer out. If anybody's ever interested, just go to the YouTubes.
Yeah. It was interesting that Thrawn in the live action will be played by the original voice actor. So the voice actor is going to become the actual actor, which is pretty cool.
What?
Yeah. So, I mean, so it's Lars Mikkelsen. I always get his name wrong. I wanted to recheck it. So Lars Mikkelsen was the voice actor, and he's also going to do the live action version. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. And there's going to be 3 movies coming out as well. So James Mangold's movie will go back to the Dawn of the Jedi. So that's sort of the one that potentially could, be somewhere SWTOR related-ish. Who knows? We don't know how far back they're going to be going.
I think they said 25,000 years.
Okay, well, that's really the Dawn of the Jedi. Then that's really pre-SWTOR for sure. But it still could be really interesting. Dave Filoni's will focus on the New Republic and will also close out the interconnected stories told in The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and other Disney Plus series. So it's cool that he's going to get an actual movie to do some of this.
That's so good, right?
Yeah. And then the third one, and I'll get right back to you, Shamin Obeid Chinoy, and I'm sorry about the pronunciation, that's probably wrong. Film will be set after the events of Rise of Skywalker and will feature Daisy Ridley back as Rey as she builds a new Jedi Order. So that'll be interesting because, like, we don't. There's not a whole lot of canonical stuff that happened post Episode 9. So this is basically potentially the setup for like what is going to happen next in the galaxy. So which is pretty cool. So yeah, what were you going to say though, Kitty?
I forgot.
Okay.
I think I was just excited about some of the things that are coming.
Yeah.
But I wonder, and I kind of hope they don't do this, but back in Legends, the lightsabers actually had power packs to them. I wonder if they're going to touch that. This is all speculation.
Right. Like the
I kind of hope they don't.
Right. Yeah, or they can also potentially like talk about the creation of the first lightsabers, that sort of thing too. Yeah. That could be very cool.
There's a lot of really cool stuff that's happening, and Bad Batch season 3. I mean, they're going to wrap a lot of stuff up.
Yeah, and we also had the end of season 2 just wrap up. So did you like the end of it there?
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah, very interesting. Definitely big cliffhanger. No spoilers, but big cliffhanger. And definitely setting up a lot of stuff for the Bad Batch to be doing at the beginning of season 3 for sure.
This season had a lot of episodes, and I've heard some people saying that there's several filler episodes. And I don't know. I don't think that there's filler episodes. I think they all have a purpose to the story once it's all put together. But man, season 3 is probably going to be a burner.
Yeah, especially the beginning. For sure. The first few episodes have got to be like burners for sure. It's going to be interesting.
So, looking forward to it.
All right. And let's see, we do have a force feedback from Smooth Wolf, DL Smooth Wolf. Hey, OotiniCast, DL Smooth Wolf here. Just want to say thank you to Dekion for inviting me to the Utini Knights and Rage Guilds. Tip of the week is the subjects preparing for Star Wars Day and Revenge of the Sith, 6th or 5th. By getting all of the KOTOR 2 original prequel and sequel trilogy armor sets, so we could have an event where we space Barbie as Obi-Wan or Leia Organa on Alderaan. I don't have anything else to say except I'm sorry for my actions towards some of the people I've chatted with, and I regret what I have done. I'm not actually sure what he's referring to, but it sounds like he knows, and probably some of the people in the guild know. So that's anyway, and this might be the last time you'll hear from me for a while, but I'll occasionally pop up every now and then. May the force be with you. And P.S. please don't mistake me for me leaving SWTOR. I just need some time to deal with the consequences of my actions, and maybe a year from now I'll return, but I don't think it's possible after what I did. But if I'm given another opportunity, I'll strive to be a better person than I was before. Okay. I was not aware of the apparent issues that were going on, but it sounds like he's taking a nice step back, and hopefully that will help.
For sure.
So right. And let's see, do you have anything else coming up, Kitty? Do you have special streams or anything like that planned?
No, I think it's just get that basement fixed.
Yeah, and I'll be thrashing my voice doing the Macho Man impression for the next however long, as long as I'm doing PvP, I guess.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll send you some texts.
Yeah.
To, hey, chill out, chill. Drink some ice water. Have some tea with honey in it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm having to do all that stuff. My voice is still thrashed today, just from the short stream I did before, like a couple hours before the show. So anyway, all right, then that's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Utini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Satil Shan server, or in our
Titty Rage.
Guild on the Empire slide. Do a /C join Utini to join the Utini channel, then let us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to utinicast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @utinicast or Mastodon @utinicast@mastodon.world. You can find contact details for us on our website, utinicast.com, which includes how to subscribe using iTunes, Stitcher, and the rest. We record the show live bi-weekly on Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, by streaming at twitch.tv/utinicast. Our theme song is Doomsday by Jean-Paul Zogby. And thank you to the chat room.
Thank you, chat. It's great to see everybody.
Yeah, we'll see you next show. All right. And Kitty, where do you think we should raid?
Let's get Kitten Cog.
Okay. Get over to the place where I can actually do a raid. Let's see.
Aim it on the raid.
Let's see. Kitten, Kittn. COG. Ah, yep, I see her. All right, I'll have to follow her once we get there so it'll show up on the list. Here, we're going to start the raid. Thank you for coming, everyone. Do appreciate it. And let's see. Yeah, enjoy this season 4 and PvP season 2.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you next time.
All right, there's the raid. I guess I'll be actually stopping the stream, stopping the recording.